Hey everyone, welcome, or for the elite few, welcome back to my channel. I am the free-to-play Crusader, but I don't just call myself that because I am a free-to-play Crusader, but actually because I am on a crusade to make this game more accessible and fun for free-to-play and casual players, explaining ways to get the most out of the game and min-max your efforts so that you can be competitive with people who have put money into the game. So if that interests you, please consider subscribing. Now, I've been working on my Crusader PvP dash build video, and it's been taking a while because A, I haven't had much time to put into it, and 2, I'm being a little OCD about it. If you've been with me, you know I like to put in a lot of crazy, silly editing. I just can't help it. Also, I've been hyping this build for so long that the video pretty much has to be perfect at this point, right? And another thing, the cheap-ass editing software that I use absolutely sucks. It crashes all the time, or I do something and then it breaks the whole project and I lose a bunch of work. So help me slowly grow this channel so I can actually make money from it and put that into good software. Plus, a couple of my friends got back into playing Red Dead 2 online a few months ago, and they only get to play a couple times a month, so when they do, I like to join them. And I got the text while I was working on the build video, so we're going to be playing in a couple hours. We just mess around, try to help my new bass level up, and one of my friends is pay to win in that game, so he's got all the fun toys to mess around. So if you want to check that out, my Twitch is linked below. I'll be on there tonight. But since I've been putting off this build for so long, I wanted to give you sort of a short version of it. Just to put out something quick, and because I know people have been waiting for it. This won't get into as much detail as I will get into when I actually put out the real video, but I just wanted to, give you the basics so you can at least start with this build, and a lot of it is kind of personal opinion anyways, personal preference. So we're just going to watch a few epic vault battles that I've had in the last couple days while I talk about this build. So this one, here's a little tip. Look, I mean, I was gonna say, yeah, we weren't taking his damage. We weren't doing much damage to the first guy I was attacking, so you gotta move on. I should have realized earlier, move on to someone else. Try to take out the weaker targets first so you have less enemies to deal with. So this guy's a whale, and you can see he's got 230k health. That's a definite sign that they're a whale. But me and my group are like around 1k resonance average probably. I think we had one person who was like 2 something. And I do recommend trying to get groups with people around your resonance because it uses your average resonance of your party to try to give you the closest matchup. So don't go with a bunch of, like if you go with one whale and a bunch of 1k resonance people, you're going to end up matching up with a group of 4 whales, and you're not going to win. So, and you can see this Crusader here, he's using the electrified horse. That move is awesome. But that version of the drawn quarter, but it's not the best for free-to-play casual and just generally weaker players like myself. He's spec'd for maximum damage, which is why he's using that. Although he is using, see, there's the falling sword that turns into a dash, and here I'll use it right here. And I mostly use it for movement. And right there, if you look real quick, my Phoenix Ashes just saved me. I always complain that it sucks because the little shield it gives you is so tiny, especially in PvP where gem abilities are reduced. But it has saved me so several times, like we just saw. So yeah, you can see I'm using the falling sword, the surging sword version where it gives you 3 quick dashes. And look at this, I almost get all the way back and res someone, which would have given us a chance. But I saw him come and hit my shield real quick because I knew I would already be dead right now if I didn't hit that Conjuration light right there. And now I'm just trying to stall for some cooldowns. Not really much I can do to beat him besides what I've already done. Like run around and try to get the mobs to fight him a little bit. But now I see that he's going to res someone, so that's basically checkmate. I have to go back and engage him to keep him from resing someone else. And there's a little Conjuration light. Give me a few seconds, a couple stuns right there, and that's about the most I could do. But it did last quite a while against a serious whale there, so that just shows the survivability of this build, which is one of the things I like about it a lot. So this one's going to be, the next two are going to be wins that were kind of like drawn out battles that were kind of epic. Basically, with like me and one person in the end. Always try to use your Conjuration Light like I did there near your teammates so that they can, you know, benefit from it too. Like when I see that the cooldown's coming up, I start running towards any of my nearby party members so that I can give it to them as well. And you see that I've got a couple CCs in this build. There's that shield charge that I'm using set to the Tromp Down essence, which targets someone, it charges to them and stuns them, and then also damages and knocks back nearby enemies. Don't forget you can heal, like I'm doing right there, whether you're Immortal or Shadow, although as Immortals at least these guys aren't fighting me, but they do get in the way, which is annoying. Oh, and see, I auto-aimed the shield charge and it just hit his clone. And I think in the where I lost to the whale in the previous video, I also auto-aimed on a Sacred Chains, which I do that all the time and it misses. Like, you should try to get into the habit of manually aiming your skills in the direction they need to go. So yeah, I have the Sacred Chains, this Frozen Chains version of it, that stuns for 3 seconds. You know, it links between a bunch of players if they're nearby. And I'm thinking I need to heal again. I should have started running a little sooner when I realized he was in, but I just didn't think of it. I was like, oh, I'm just going to stay here, and then I realized, oh, I should probably go heal. And I saw I wasn't that he was about to get there, so I hit that Conjuration Light just in time. But yeah, I have Conjuration Light on here because, again, survivability. And then there was a nice, the Sacred Chain stunned him right there. Oh, he's almost got me. But no. It was a close one. But it was epic, and like, this happens more often than you would think. Like, I get these long epic battles, and sometimes I win, sometimes I lose, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun, and like that guy that I was just going against for a while there, he was a Dolphin. Like, he's maybe 3k resonance, I think it was. And then same thing is going to happen at the end of this one, and I actually got screenshots of his, you know, stats too. Falling Sword, the version that does the dash, and then your shield charge is also a dash, which is why this is a dash build. You can use Gloom Guides and other things in the game that proc off of dashes, which is kind of what I was thinking with this build. But it's also kind of a CC build, since 2 of those moves are CCs, and I've realized that CC goes a long way in survivability as a weaker player. I never really thought that would be the case early on in the game when I was trying to figure out what kind of builds to use or how to make, you know, a good vault build. And it's always worth trying to res if the almost got it there, if, you know, the enemies are distracted by some of your other party members. And the warband roll with the remnant that makes you res faster would be nice. But personally, I like I think it's Protector warband roll with the remnant that has plus 6.5% life. It's huge. I'm basically spec'd for life over damage on this. Oh, is he gonna get me? Toss out a Sacred Chains. Oh, didn't hit him. He's chasing me. there's my movement right there with the falling sword. It's like, but I use it most for is movement, not for damage typically. Get my heal on. Re-engage. What else? And I'm using Punish for my primary. And I saw, see, I hit the Conjuration right when I almost had that res, but then I saw him coming. There's the freeze. And so, and like, I don't have good potency or anything either, so my CCs are cut in half, it says. So, you know, even with that, it's still, these CC moves go a long way. And that was just a miss. I think I did manually aim that. Got him! So there's some pretty cool examples. There's the guy I was just fighting. 13.7k damage, 161k life. We had a 12.6k combat rating, which combat rating doesn't matter as much. Really doesn't matter. It's not that important in PvP. And sometimes this build will even get you a GG. And hey, the shield timing was money. Here are the essences that I'm using. Just quick review. So we got the shield charge. Has 2 uses, so along with the 3 dashes from your falling sword. That's 5 total dash uses, 5 chances for Gloom Guides or your Invocation or whatever else to proc off of a dash. So there are other options for all of these that I'm going to show you, but this is what I feel is the best. 2 uses of shield charge there, making shield charge damage nearby enemies at its destination. Frozen Chains version of Sacred Chains, because if you don't have that, then when they take damage it breaks the chains. So this is 3 second stun, and it will link between nearby enemies, which, you know, in my case is only a 1.5 second stun. Plus, if they have high resistance, I mean, it's even less. But like I said, CC goes a long way in not only helping your team in general, but in survivability for yourself. And then the calculated strike version of shield charge, like I said, targeted and stun and knock back and damage nearby enemies, or just knock them back so you damage them with this part of it. And then, like I said, surging sword version of falling sword that gives 3 dashes, and you can delay. You got, it looks like about 4 seconds before you lose your chance to use the next one of the dashes. So you could use it, wait 3 seconds while your Gloom Guides gives you 3 seconds of plus 15% damage, and then hit the next one. And so you can time it out so that you have a lot of duration of having that boost. And then lastly, one of a few reasons why I decided to use Punish over Sacred Fire for the primary attack is, again, survivability, because you use it and then it gives you 2 seconds of having plus 30% block chance. And then I throw this essence on it, which, while you have that hardened senses, it's called, your blocks will damage nearby enemies. So it just seems to fit perfectly for this build. And if we want to take a look at my gear compared to him, I have 11s and 12s for my secondary gear, and he had he's got 11s and 13s. And then his primary gear is 22s and 23s, and mine is all 16s except for one at level 20. And then my stats, I have 9.5k damage, and he had 13.7, and then I have 147k life, and he had 161k. And I have that much life again because I'm completely focusing on getting as much life as possible with this. I think that's a huge help in PvP and survivability. I mean, in PvP in general, you want to just increase damage in life. But when I have the choice between the two, I've been picking life. So like my normal gems for the red slot, I'm doing life instead of damage. And again, survivability, and also because I'm using mount banks, and that shield that it gives you scales off of your life, I'm also using the invocation that gives you a shield, and that scales off your life. So many reasons why I'm focusing on life, and it helps with survivability, and you can kind of outlast your enemies, as you saw here. So there's the short version of my dash build. I will be putting out the perfect version of it that gets into a lot more detail, so subscribe if you want to see that. I'm also going to have a general PvP building video on tips on PvP builds, no matter what kind, you know, what you need to focus on. Hit the like button if you appreciated that or want to support me, and check the Twitch link below if you want to see me playing Red Dead tonight. Thanks for watching.